The society is always, well, let me start this over again. Sometimes I think like, what are we seeing? Not like the Carl Jung way, but simply like, are those things as how I recognize them? This world is made of the denial and affirmation. Our human history has been denying and destroying what we used to have as the common sense to affirm what we are going to have. So sometimes it's hard to see if what we see is what it is, or what we see is what we are seeing by, yeah, it could be a lot, but how about the money game? Ads, internet content, or government. Okay, I went a little far, but you know that, right? When something with a huge influence says A is good and B is not good, that might be able to become that way. But in a deep level, that's just a bullshit. That's a money game to make us spend our money, even though it is not necessary. Alright, things are getting kinda rough, so let me cut the chase. It all started when I did the Okay, now I'm shooting this on Sony a7C II and 50mm 1.4 G Master. And this is Sony 50mm F1.8. This is what I want to claim today. Get this 50mm 1.8 over G Master. Let's go back to the studio. I hate this Sony 50mm 1.2 G Master because it changed how prime lenses are supposed to be and used. This is the best image quality lens in Sony, but having that said, I don't like its existence. Well, the hype more than the lens itself. Everyone on the internet is saying like, what lens do you like the best? 50mm 1.2, 1.4 prime, regardless of brands. Prime lens equal 50mm f1.2, aka brand's final weapon. This is walking by itself on the internet, and it embeds the ideology goes like prime lens should be supreme. The lens cost a couple of $1,000s is not for everyone honestly. But the prime lens should be for everyone because the attraction of cameras in it. Like the sense of unity with camera and moment. Better image quality and larger bokeh than zoom lenses with smaller, lighter, and inexpensive body, and the commitment to the art crafting. I want you to feel that with prime lenses, so I am recommending them on this channel, but still, I am feeling like there is a inferiority complex to this type of budget prime lens with f1.8, not 1.2 or 1.4. Does this inferior to 50mm GM that much? Is this 50mm 1.8 useless, not worth buying, not the real prime lens? Should prime lens be supreme all the time? What we see is not always what it is. So today, let's do the side-by-side comparison between this Sony 50mm 1.8 and Sony 50mm 1.2 G Master. The joy is for everyone. Today is such a bad day for filming video, but anyway, which do you think I am using right now? G Master or 50mm 1.8? So this is A. This is B. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So I wouldn't say they are the same, but look at how 50mm 1.8 performs against 50mm G Master. $250 and $2,000. Sometimes it gets difficult to spot which is which when you don't know which is which. Both are incredibly sharp. 50mm 1.8 would be the best image quality lens in this price range. It got a good high resolution feel and the amount of contrast is sweet spot, well balanced. But I gotta say, hat off to G Master. The GM crispness is beyond the crazy. It gets super obvious when it comes to the landscape and cityscape with a lot of details. But it's not just a high resolution feel. Not just a feel. If you compare those two under the strict manual focus control, GM nails it. It literally has more resolution than 50mm 1.8. Not only the sharpness, there are differences in color. This side-by-side footage is very helpful to understand it. GM has a better color depiction. 1.8 is not bad. If it is by itself, it looks amazing. But compared to f1.8, GM has a nice slight red on skin, while f1.8 is kind of shifted to green. Also, GM has a deeper and richer black. I questioned to myself, what is the biggest difference between $250 1.8 lens and $2,000 f1.2 lens, I found out that it was the richness in color. It seems G Master has more steps than 50mm 1.8. I don't know if it's technically true, but I am really feeling that when I am shooting and color grading. When it comes to only the sharpness, I don't think there is this price difference, but in richness, there is. But what I want to talk about here is not the greatness of GM, it's actually the performance more than the money you pay of 50mm 1.8. My goal of this video was to draw the real value and the quality of 50mm 1.8 by comparing it with GM. And I believe my mission succeeded. It's not started recently. I always have had this doubt. Am I seeing the real figure of things? Am I just seeing illusion created by money? I got scared. So that's why I started to obsess with the crux. So far, I believe I am proving that this 50mm 1.8 is actually better than GM in terms of the performance more than the money you pay, and proving that today's wind is crazy. You know, this little guy is incredible. This is the prime lens. You know, the prime lens should be like this. Right now, can I have your minutes for showing you some pictures and videos? Those were shot on even more inexpensive, smaller 50mm prime lens. Wait a minute, did we have it in Sony? No, today you will have it, this brand new Viltrox 50mm F2 full frame lens. Viltrox did it again. Come on, they are putting so much energy on making lenses recently. And all of them are great so far. But this 50mm F2 is kind of different. The best I've ever had in Viltrox. This is Viltrox 50mm F2 Air Sony E-mount full frame lens. The newest lens from Air series, which is perfectly designed to help you carry less but capture more. It is about 200 gram, filter size is 58mm. The overall size is super compact, but it got 50mm f2. This lens got the Viltrox style, cinematic, nice, soft vibe, and 50mm sharpness and compressed feel. The overall taste of light get captured, creamy and soft, but look at how much details this gets. I really love the overall texture, made by combination of those three. If you go up to like f8, you can level up the sharpness more. But if you go to like f2, you can add more soft vibe to images. And f2. I guess this f2 is very sweet spot. Of course 1.8, 1.4, those are good to have to express kind of dreamy, unrealistic vibe. But f2 is not too far. But definitely it adds certain vibe to images. That being said, I think this f2 is super easy to use in an everyday video photo life. When it comes to the portrait, it gives you the nice separation between the subject and background. F2 bokeh boosts the detail level at the center. And autofocus works really well even though when it's 50mm with a large aperture f2. When it comes to the optic performance, generally speaking, it generates some cons such as ghost and flare. It tends to generate something like a halation like this when it gets a strong backlight, but I actually love this. It may be not as clear as, for example, GM $2,000 lens, but when we think like, you know, this is the Viltrox vibe, it becomes a good uniqueness. $200 50mm f2 lens. It's not just the nifty, it's the Ultra 50. Sounds good, right? Because I borrowed this line from Viltrox. Thank you. Like the Sony 50mm 1.8, this represents the prime lens. You know, the original way that the prime lens used to be. It gives you the super fantastic and exciting but easy and casual camera life. Check it out. Lights are so delusive. It changes how we see things depending on how lights come into our eyes. How can we see what actually it is without deception? So the amount of bokeh is gonna be the huge deal for this comparison. So f1.2 is very large aperture. I guess it's the, pretty much max in the general mirrorless cameras lens category. But f1.8 is still large compared to, f2.8 zoom lenses. How much is there the bokeh difference between f1.2 and 1.8? Well, of course, f1.2 generates bigger and more, melting bokeh than 1.8, but it's actually not worth the, price difference, I mean, this isn't gonna be the biggest aspect for choosing GM over 50mm 1.8 in my opinion, because f1.8 is already enough. Which is better thing is meaningless right here, because f1.2 is better anyway. Like if you can choose from 1.2, 1.8 within a same exact price, you all go for 1.2, definitely, right? But what I want to exaggerate right here is the ability of 50mm 1.8. This size, weight, and of course the price with this amount of bokeh and the sharpness I showed you. Definitely, this is better than zoom lenses. And I want to claim, and I want to claim this is the prime lens. You all can have it. I agree. GM is supreme in everything, of course. But this, the thing what I just said, is the trap. Even though it's supreme, that doesn't mean this is better than 50mm 1.8. Being better than something. This changes basing on criteria. If you think basing on pursuing the image quality, GM is way better. But if you think basing on the total performance such as the image quality, usability, portability, mobility, and of course the price, 50mm 1.8 is way better. So still, I don't know if I should say this or just keep it inside of my head. Even if I decide to say it, should I make it soft and mild? Nah, that doesn't sound like me. All of this is just a marketing bullshit. Oh, feels good. My chest feels good right now. What was this GM made for? I mean, for Fu. It'll be for only pros. Who sacrifice everything for pursuing image quality, aka the quality pervert, in a positive way. As a matter of fact, I am one of them. But if you try to sell it to only those people, the math doesn't go right. You know what I mean? So you gotta expand the market wider and trying to sell it to people who actually don't need, but they end up buying because it starts looking better than anything. This is the money game. That's what I call it. But I don't mean like you must not buy what you don't need. Of course I don't. How you use your money is something only you can decide and control. Buying something that you don't need but want to, that's called as the luxury item. For most of us, this lens is the luxury item. It's not practical. Even for me, in most of the cases, I don't need this. But also I have to say like this performs better than anything at some situations, for some people. But in general, what I'm gonna say is this is just way more than enough. In most of the cases, you don't need this. So I wanna change the general thoughts that many people have in their mind, like a prime lens should be supreme like GM 1.2. You don't go for prime lenses because of only image quality. There is the, like I said, the unity of you and moments and the commitment to the art crafting, and of course larger bokeh than zoom lenses. Those are for everyone. The joy is for everyone. But because of the existence of this $2,000 prime lens, 1.2 prime lens, we tend to lose the purpose of prime lenses. So if you want to go for prime lenses, but you think like, okay, maybe those type of lenses are not worth buying, it's cheap, it's not good, GM is better, it's not like that. It's not like that. My video tells you that, right? So in today's video, I just wanted to tell you one thing. I made this video for this moment. What you see is not what it is. See the truth underneath the money. Okay, this is it. You thought this is just a side-by-side comparison of those two lenses? Of course not. Who do you think I am? My name is Kensei Akatsu, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. じゃあまた。In a busy modern life, we tend to lose the true face of things. You know, it's not always what it looks like. So we gotta keep trying to see what's underneath the ground by not being deceived by environment surrounding us. So that's why you fell asleep? Okay, great. From where? The money game part. The money game part. That's exactly why we easily get trapped. Okay, the thing is,